Good morning. How is everyone this morning?
Ugh.
Oh, come on.
I mean, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
It's
Okay,
great.
question for everyone. Dee's supposed to be joining us. I think Drew ditched us today. Whatever. And then he's going to have all these comments because of our topic this morning. Well, I don't know that we really have we never have a topic, but so first question, do you guys wear ever like sticky lip gloss, whatever, compared to like chapstick and then things get stuck? Does that drive you crazy or is that just a me thing?
Well, especially if my hair gets stuck in it. Like if it's windy or something.
It just collects anything, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like I could be walking down the street like, oh, there's a gum wrapper stuck to my sticky lip. I don't know.
Only if I'm in drag and my wig blows into my lip gloss.
Oh, you mean like last week?
Oh, no one wants to see that, Becky. Oh, that was scary. I'm like, oh.
We're early. We're early.
Oh my God. I was so surprised. I thought that looked amazing.
I think
thought it
it's
was
safe to say I will never be a woman.
Okay, so in our other podcast, good morning, Dee. We just started.
Hey,
You were taking too long.
I know. I'm sorry. I had to get more coffee, and then I spilled it everywhere. And then, I realized that the thread I'm hanging on by is like.
I was watching her for a second off camera, and I had to watch her glam squad run off screen. And so,
Oh my gosh! Yes,
I was going to say that sounds like a load of excuses. That's what I thought it was. Just a bucket full.
No, people were just doing her hair, touching up her makeup, making her look beautiful.
Oh, I get that. I want someone.
That's what I needed today.
If you really need it.
Meanwhile, I did. Did you just insult Becky?
No, I said, how do I get that? I wouldn't insult Becky.
I thought you said she really needed it.
She said you really need it.
Oh, you insulted me.
Well, we're this quick today. We're this quick. So I'm 3 hours of sleep. So no, we were just talking about, which is not our topic today, but Dee kind of inspired our topic today. But we were talking about lipstick, right? Because normally I put on matte lipstick, or I don't like my, the shiny stuff, lip gloss. And I think it's because everything sticks to it. It just drives me crazy. And so we were just talking about that, and then talking about how I brought wigs to the conference because at one of our other podcasts, the boys wanted to wear wigs. And so they were putting them on, and Drew looked like Jesus in the pictures, back in the day, I swear. And then Chip looked like Mama June.
I look like Mama June in the short blonde one, and I look like Meatloaf in the brunette one.
You kind of look like Meatloaf, because I started singing, I will do anything for love, but I won't do that. And he's like, really? That's super funny. Super funny.
Suffice to say, I will never have long hair, and it will definitely never be brunette. So
you would look better as a blonde.
The blonde wigs did look a lot better.
But that short little, whatever that was, that boxy one. No.
Oh yeah.
No.
That's my new screensaver on my phone.
You're welcome. You're lucky I shared that.
We're in stone look, right? Instead of whatever that Honey Boo Boo Mama thing was, Mama June.
It sucks when I forget though, and I wake up and I go to turn off my alarm. I'm like, oh God, hi Chip.
I have one or two friends who I do that to, and I open my Facebook page and they pop up right away. I'm like,
I'm right
Don't
here.
you wonder the algorithm too? Like, I would really love to know the Facebook or social media algorithm, because there are things like literally, I go, I don't even like that. I don't follow it. I don't like it. Why does it pop up? I don't understand that at all.
No, I've been getting weird ads for like smut, like books and stuff. I'm like, why? Do I look that lonely? Like, why would want to
ask for bras? I told Jim I suckered and bought one of them, which I posted because they came earmuffs for the dog. They just shot off like a rocket. It's supposed to be this, like, they're plastic, but they have pads on them, and then they have a wire like underneath, so it's strapless, right? You can. Nothing on your back, nothing on your shoulder for summer, right? All of our summer dresses and everything, right?
Those are probably made for normal boobs.
They said
they're not made for atomic boobs.
Yeah, they said atomic boobs. They said large, so I thought it'd be okay. So I put it on. That thing shot off like
Becky could probably wear that.
Oh almost like
It wasn't an insult. I'm saying you're normal. Like you're not.
Oh, so I just got insulted. I'm not normal.
Exactly.
Anyway, so I'm same D. I see all of these ads and I'm like, what are you trying to tell me? Are my bras not good? And then I saw this one that it's like a suction cup, right? Sucks
no.
it, and then you put like the tape up here and it just holds it. And Chip's like, that's not going to work unless you duct tape around. Like it's just going to like slap off. So I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm feeling targeted.
Yours are a little heavy. There might be
I
a little
feel-
heavy for that.
Yeah. He ain't heavy. He's my brother. I'm feeling a little targeted by Facebook right now.
I'm just gonna say those ads come up by an algorithm of things you've been searching and well,
but I have not been looking for. I would never normally buy a bra without trying it on. That's just not something that
Right.
is ever going to work for me. I would never. just see-
Facebook must know you've been thinking about it or something though, because they can read your thoughts. It hears everything you say around the house.
Maybe it's what everyone else is saying, and it's not about me. And then it's like, oh, I think Anyway, speaking of targeted, so Dee brought up a subject for tomorrow, so I'm very curious for you guys. And now Drew isn't. It's funny how Drew isn't here when he's the one with the biggest mouth on this subject of awareness and whatever. So, just saying, funny. But Dee was talking about like her obsession with true crime. Are you obsessed with that, Becky? I know Julie is.
Yes, I go to bed to Forensic Files every night.
Oh,
Have you
There
seen that
is-
TikTok that's like, I can't remember. It's like the husband walking in on his girlfriend trying to fall asleep, and instead of white noise, it's like the true crime. Her legs were cut off, her arms were cut off, her tongue was cut out, and she's like,
I don't know why, but it
wrong
works
with
for
you
me.
people?
oh my God! There's a new series on Facebook. Good Lord, what's wrong with me? Netflix called The Staircase, and it's a true story about I don't know how it ends yet, so I shouldn't say what the true story is about. But the woman falls supposedly down some stairs and dies, and I'm just obsessed. Like,
Do you think he did it? Isn't the whole thing about did the husband do it or not? I'd be terrible.
they're blaming the husband. It's very obvious. Like she had 37 like injuries from falling down the stairs. Like,
Well, so do I, and I've never been beaten. I just
What
fall
is the name of it, Chip?
it's called The Staircase.
It's on Netflix, I think.
Actually, it's on Hulu, and then Netflix has a documentary on it. So
Oh, okay.
I misspoke. But it's interesting because the DA reenacts what they think the crime scene looked like, and you're like, oh, okay, that's plausible. And then the defense reenacts what the crime scene looked like and how she got hurt, and you're like, oh, well, that makes kind of sense too. And so I'm only on episode 3 because the whole series has not been released yet, and so I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have to admit it's kind of weird, right? Society's obsession with that stuff. Is it so that because I watch horror movies all the time? I was thinking about that last night after I'm like making fun of UD, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why would you watch that? That's terrible. But I love horror movies, but it's not real.
I think we all have someone in our life that occasionally we're like, I could kill you, and you're like, okay, now how do I get away with this?
I could just like that. I could snap. I could just snap.
Which is why the TV show Snapped is so fantastic.
oh, that is a good one.
Because it's
So-
so true, right? You kind of reach this point, and then do you ever feel for the? I've never watched the true crime stuff. I'm going to be totally honest, but sometimes I have to admit, and it's probably if it's a good show because it makes the what is the bad one, the antagonist in the it makes you feel for them, right? Like Loki, right? He's the antagonist in all that movie. He's the bad guy, right? But I actually really like him because I feel for him. I have empathy because he's a likable bad guy.
Yeah.
You kind of see how they were pushed to the point of when they snap.
Right.
Because that's
Backstory
human
to-
nature. Like you could push, but at some point we all have a breaking point.
Well, yeah. Well, and like with most of the
You
serial
just hope it
killers,
doesn't
like
end up with a knife in someone's like chest. I mean, that really should be our line. But say it again, Dee.
well, like most of the serial killers, they do have a backstory. Like they had a terrible childhood, or there's I guess a reason that they went that far. But
There's like a psychology behind it, right?
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's figuring that piece out. Like Dee said, what in their past,
Yeah.
it's why are they like this? Why did this happen? Was it,
Well,
it's that puzzle piece for me. But I will say that I can't watch anything with children.
yeah,
I agree, and
Did
Sarah
they
makes
air
fun of
that
me because
stuff?
I watch a reality show called Love After Lockup, and it's not the show because it's terrible reality. I mean,
I've watched that before.
but
What do you
it's
guys watch on TV?
it's the psychology behind of like, why do these women and men think like this is all they're destined for? This is what they can get. Like they
Well,
can't
you
get
think it's
anything
because they
else.
want to save them?
Like it's yeah. To me, I like start to
Project?
analyze people's thinking and like where their head is
I
at,
can,
and
I
like
can save them, right? Like, what I always say something, they always make fun of me because I live in denial of people, right? And so I'm always like, oh, red flags. No, I thought it was a carnival. So I went, I mean, but I think it's different. Well, I don't know. Do you guys see red flags? I tend to not. I'm like, oh, there's always a reason.
Yeah, I
I see them.
sometimes I am like,
burning
ooh, Six
down, then you wouldn't
Flags.
see the red flag.
The flag is burning. Well, I just think it needs a little repair. Yeah, it's fine. We'll make it okay. We'll
I
make
call them pink because I'm passive aggressive.
I think it's kind of like the difference between maybe you think they're a project and you can save them. That's like what I realized.
I was at the grocery store last night, and the cashier, I think he was DD. I can't tell, but I felt so bad for him. I just wanted to bring him home and take care of him.
I think that's different though.
Right.
Like I think because you guys make fun of me for the animal thing. Like I like snakes. I let spiders go unless you freak me out. If you scare me, like if I'm gonna go to sleep, you're gonna cut my my jugular, then no, there's no place for you in my home. But
I just sneak into your bedroom and cut your hair at night. So.
That's all right. I got
I
tons
have
of
little snippets of
Which
hair in
finish-
jars in my bathroom of yours. So.
if there's such thing as a voodoo doll, sometimes I would have a lineup of those if that would work. But anyway, that's another side story. Yeah, why don't we go voodoo doll instead of like the murderer thing? But I still think you have to have something in you that causes you to go to that extreme, right? Because isn't there something along the way? We all know like crazy people in our life, right? That you go out and you go, this is one of those, I might go to jail if I go out with this person, right? Or I'm going to make a bad decision, or I know I'm not getting home by 6. Mm-hmm. By 6, look at Chip. She was like, I don't even start dinner until 11. I want to eat at the senior menu at 4:30. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, it helps that you're 68.
It does help. I get that discount.
I think we all have that ability to snap or to do something, but we all have intact frontal temporal lobes that says, no, you can't do that.
I think it's more than that. It is, right? Because there's no doubt mental health plays into this and that whole piece. But there's also, I think, like a willingness to just go, who cares? Like I'm so right at that moment, I think you might be totally normal. And then at some point you're just like, something takes over and you lose, you go black. Right? Like, have you ever seen anyone in a rage that literally, and then they don't remember? Chip and I were talking about this before, several episodes ago. We don't deal well with anger. If someone's really angry, I want you to stop it. I don't like it. I'm not comfortable around it. I don't like anger at all. I get very icky inside.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because you and I have both talked about this because we didn't grow up with anger or anything like that. But yet, oddly enough, as adults, when people get angry, we shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't like anger, and I don't know how to react to it. And
well, that makes sense, Chip, right? Because I mean, people who are used to it, I mean, that's their norm. So it's like people who grow up in homes that are very dramatic. There's always something going on, right? I mean, that's their norm. That's like their baseline. So then when they are older and they have a life where it's drama free and things are calm, sometimes they create that drama.
Yeah.
Because that's their baseline. That's where they feel comfortable.
Okay, let's all be honest for a second here, because this is we're uncensored on this show. Have you ever pushed the drama button for attention or for something? Do you ever just push that drama button a little hard? Maybe a certain relationship or a certain time where you just you're being more dramatic than you really need to be, but it's intentional. Not like you lost it, but you intentionally were like, oh.
I think I'm dramatic every day, but not like, well, like the anger thing. I did grow up in an angry home, and so I do shut down around anger. And it's funny because people always tell me I'm angry all the time, but I'm not. I'm just very loud and dramatic. like I spilt my coffee and it's the end of the world. I don't really mean it, but
I don't think
if you
you're
don't
angry at
know
all.
me,
I
yeah,
have
if you don't know me,
never
I think
seen you
people
angry, D. That's shocking to hear.
I'm not. I'm really not. But I think if you don't know me and then I come in all loud and I'm like dramatic about the coffee or like
See,
traffic or
I think
something.
that's more me because I'm so mouthy, and then someone's like, "Is she mad?" No, if I'm
Yeah.
mad, trust me, you'll know it. Because first of all, I'm not loud when I'm mad. I am silent as the grave, and I am absent when I'm mad. So when I'm like passionate about something, no, I'm not mad at all. I'm just passionate. That's
I'm
just
like Sarah when I'm around you, D. You're like a polar bear, and I'm like, oh, let's cuddle. I'm like, I just want to
right.
love
Yeah,
on you.
opposite.
Which is my
You may
favorite
claw-
thing.
You may claw my eyes out, but let's love on you. Like,
Yeah, you're not a hugger either that way, but you do because now, like, I don't even have to go over to you and go, just bring it in and let's do it. You just come to me and take it.
I've accepted
That
it.
sounded
Yeah.
bad. You know what I mean?
I feel like you just assaulted her.
She has, and it's good.
I know.
I like it now. What is that, like Stockholm
just-
syndrome or something?
I think so. I just crawl on her lap and just cuddle her till she breaks down. Like, you're gonna cry. I'm just gonna cuddle you until you cry.
We do have friends and stuff that Sarah's like, I'm just gonna push my boobs into them and hug them until they get comfortable. And,
Right.
and
It
she
makes
does
me
it on
so
purpose.
uncomfortable.
So.
Good morning, Becky. Your mom's on, Chip. Good morning, Erica. Okay, so
Oh.
Erica, I'm Mexican, so I'm loud and dramatic. It's my blood. Girl, I wish I had that excuse. I also feel like if I could say I was Catholic, I don't know if that's okay to say or not, but again, we're uncensored. I just feel like there's like, everyone I grew up with that was super Catholic could do whatever they wanted. And then they just went to confession and it was like everything was fine the next day. And my religion was not that way. Like you just weren't supposed to do those things. You didn't get like the pass. I felt like there's a pass, right? I don't know. Maybe not.
I wish I was dramatic. I just didn't
Plus, I
get
love
that
this
gay
thing.
gene. So.
Right? Like when someone's saying something and you're like, oh, I don't get to do that. We say bless her heart. Oh, bless her heart.
That's a southern thing. So
I don't know. I grew up with that. Bless her heart. You guys didn't? Oh. Don't you think too, like Erica, I'm going to call you out here because you've volunteered it, but I also think certain dialects and certain languages sound harsh even when they're not. Like German.
Oh yeah, that one's ugly.
Sound angry.
Russians always
Russian, that's what I was just gonna say.
Right. And even sometimes when I have my nail lady is Vietnamese and she speaks very well with English, but when someone sometimes comes up, I'm like, is there something wrong? And she's like, no, why? And I'm like, I thought you guys were in a fight. Like it's very intense. So I don't, Erica, you'll have to tell us if you think that. I don't think that's true with, I don't think that's true with Spanish, certainly not with French. I don't know.
One of my favorite actresses is Kate Mulgrew, and she's Russian. And no matter what she says, you feel like you just got a stern talking to. Like,
well, plus those people with like the scratchy voices. I always wanted one of those. Like Mina Kunis, she has one. That real gravelly, like deep. I always wanted a voice like that. No one else.
You sound like a trucker already. I mean, how much deeper do you want it?
I've been working on it for years because I don't want to sound like you guys know how I feel
the day that you smoke, and
you guys know how I feel about those high pitched voices. Like I need you to tone that down. I can't.
Yeah, sometimes I wouldn't mind it though. Like I'm kind of done being called sir over the phone.
No,
okay, you don't remotely sound like a sir. So whoever calls you sir on the phone is a moron to begin with.
Well, not only on the phone, in person, like the grocery store, everywhere.
See, now that's where Dee's going to snap and be on the episode that you watch, Becky, when you go to sleep. It's going to be like, well, what happened? Did he punch her? Did he hit her? No, he just wasn't paying attention and turned around and said, oh, excuse me, sir. And she lost it and grabbed a slice of bologna.
Well, first of all, if you've ever seen Dee in person, she's extraordinarily gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So who would call her a man is beyond me.
I agree.
But the wrong person could think you're a drag queen.
I have gotten that before.
I disagree. I do not think that you look like that. I think it's your height because you're tall.
It's when she spackles on the makeup like we do, and I'm only calling her out on it because I have to spackle on the makeup. So.
No, I don't even think it's that because I've been with you, Chip, and someone has said something, or I've been with you. I think it's just sometimes I think it's when people just turn really fat. No one pays attention. Everyone's just so self-absorbed.
If it makes you feel better, I've been called a lesbian so many times. It's not even funny because people think I look like a woman.
But you don't, and Dee, you do not look like someone in drag. You just don't. You have two feminine features. I don't know.
I think we learned the other night with me and wigs, I do not look like a woman.
No, I really thought you were going to look better. I'm just going to totally go out there and say that. I was a little shocked at how bad you looked. Like, it was bad. You guys saw the photo. In life, it was even worse. It's terrible. Like, that's the stuff that gives you you just literally did not. I just thought.
And you didn't even have to try. Like, it was just bad.
No, you're so pretty normally. I just thought you would look. I mean, I don't mean that mean. I guess maybe compliment. I don't know. But no, you're never going to pull off being a woman. You can never be like an FBI agent and be like, oh, surprise.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't be like Sandra Bullock in Miss Congeniality and like hide. Like,
no, you looked awful. Awful. I just couldn't stop laughing. It was just, and every wig was worse than the first one. It was just like, it didn't matter what he tried. It was just terrible. But
you didn't bring a red one though. Maybe red's my color.
oh, okay. Next time I'll bring red.
Maybe the
We
one
did not sit around, by the way, in the hotel and try on wigs the whole time. It was literally like a 5-minute thing, but it was so funny that my stomach hurt from laughing so hard. Like, you ever know when you smile so much and you laugh so hard, your cheeks are like sore?
Mm-hmm.
I went to bed and I'm like, oh my God, my face hurts from laughing so hard. It was awful. So, but all right. So back to the thing. Why do you guys think you watch it at night? Because Julie does the same thing. Isn't that like, although I watch horror movies at night, but I guess I don't understand our infatuation with that, because I feel like I'm going on a limb. And by the way, there's no research in this show. So if we're saying stuff and you're like, well, I disagree, you're just going to disagree. We're not going to like give you papers and prove anything.
Didn't pull up facts and figures and
no, this is just an opinion roundtable of whatever we feel like. It's Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing and everything, and we just throw stuff out. So whatever. But I think that it is our way of kind of dealing with death and fear of what we have. So I don't know if you guys, but I think it causes some people to be more fearful.
Yeah.
Because I called Julie out. I think Julie's a little like paranoid. I'm going to say it, Jules. Paranoia. She's like, well, did you see that? See
some
what?
of us here could use a little more paranoia.
Becky. I don't think I need more paranoia.
You have zero sense of safety whatsoever in your life.
That is so not true. I wear a seatbelt.
Zero. Like, it might be a negative number, actually.
That is not true. I wear a seatbelt.
You're like, oh, look at that sweet man in that white van with no windows. I'm sure he's perfectly fine. Let's just get in and see where we're going.
Well, it's probably a construction van. They don't want windows because they have equipment.
I just love that Sarah's rebuttal is I wear a seatbelt. Like, that is not what we're talking about.
But it's safety. Safety first. Click.
I will say, as a kid, one of my favorite shows, and you guys might be too young for this, was Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, yes.
And it used to scare the hell out of me, though. But it would come on at like 9 or 10 o'clock, and then you'd have to like try to go to bed right after it. And I was terrified.
To be honest, I'm still like that. I can't listen to the podcast, or I can't even watch a scary movie. Well, at least
oh
with Sarah.
My God. Okay, funniest story ever. This is why paranoia. Don't tell me that you guys aren't paranoid. So Dee and we're out at the Montrose house, and I don't know what time it is. It's like 8:30. It's not.
Yeah, I don't even think the sun had gone down, honestly.
Yeah, maybe the sun was still up. Yeah, we're watching a horror movie, and she's sitting next to me on the couch. But, there's probably another room in between us. And I know that this part is going to come up because you can just feel like the tension building, right? So I just reach over and grab her and scream simultaneously. Her ass was off the couch like this high. And she was like, ah! And like a total like, calm down. We're watching a movie in the daylight, kitten. But you watch all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was terrible.
So if I don't have any sense of whatever you said, is it possible that creates a sense of the other? That now you're just paranoid because you're looking for everything around the corner?
I think some people could be like that. I don't know. For me, it's like you're detached from the situation, right? Like it's not something that personally happened to you. You're like removed for it. So it's just another story.
Yeah, but it's real. I think that's the difference, because people go, how can you watch so many horror movies and go right to bed? Okay, the first one I did not find scary or anything at all, right? The first one I was like, Second one, actually I watched with Dee. There were a couple moments in there, like the one with the teeth, that grandma. Oh, I did not.
Yeah, that part. Yeah.
That was unsettling, but it didn't scare me. It was just like, ugh. And I'll jump sometimes if someone comes around the corner or something and I wasn't expecting it. You might have a little bit like that or something, but I just don't there's no secret clown that's going to come out of the gutter and like get me. So it's different. You guys are it's real.
But you're talking about horror movies, which are kind of far-fetched. Like if you watch Halloween, like Jason walks at the slowest pace in the history of the world, and people are like, "Oh, he's gonna kill me." Just walk. Like you're
just
gonna
walk. Yeah, just even if you could walk with a little extra step, you would make it, right? Or how about getting a freaking car and drive?
But I think it goes back to what Becky was saying earlier. I think the real shows and the real stories like Snapped and stuff like that, at least for me, and I think for the three of us when we talk about it, like to get into the psychology and to think of like where was a person's headspace at and what was going on and why did they feel this way and why did this happen?
That's what I'm saying though. Doesn't that make
I just start to analyze people and think about where they were at and what was going on. It's not scary to me. It's like, how was this person, like, how did they get to this point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a couple comments. Let's catch everybody up. So Erica says, yes, Spanish can be the same. I could probably get that. Again, I think sometimes it's your pitch and your tone too. Because like you said, Dee, I mean, I tend to talk loudly and a little aggressively, I feel like. So even when I'm not, I sound aggressive. But and Erica said, can't watch horror movies or murder mystery shows. So no fun.
Well, we're not hanging out with you, Erica.
I know. I don't know what we're going to do if we travel together. Because
you're on your own.
And then Mom says, not my mom, Chip's mom, Becky says, I'm paranoid about hearing things at night. And Mom still, her mom still sleeps with the doors unlocked. I don't lock the doors half the time.
Me either.
I'll sleep with doors. I mean,
I like check the door locks like 3 times a night.
Yeah,
I do too. Or I'll ask.
If they want in, they're going to get through a locked door or a window. What is that going to do? You just did a little thing like
it's an OCD thing.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. But I'm just saying, like, people who are like, I can't be on the first floor because they can't climb steps. They can't get up to you if you're on the second floor. I mean, I'm just saying, if they want you, they're going to find you, right?
Yeah.
If anything, Jason just taught you that because, again, he walks so flippin' slow. All of them do. So I don't know. But see, to me, okay, so I think what's worse is the fact that someone trusted that person to like sleep next to them with their eyes closed, like it was a family member. It was
that's why it's intriguing.
And then they flipped and like, no, it's horrifying.
It's
so
not.
when I was a police dispatcher for Denver, if we ever had like a domestic call or anything like that, we always had to ask, are you suicidal or are you homicidal? Very standard questions when we're on the line. And one day I was talking to a woman and I go, are you homicidal? She goes, well, I've been sleeping with a knife under my pillow in case I have to stab my husband. Oh. Okay. Not normal. Red flag.
Maybe time to move. Right. I just think I don't know. Like, I don't know how you guys will. I think I would be a little more freaky or not freaky, but freaked out or paranoid or if I watch that stuff, because then that means one of you is like that.
You never know.
You did make the comment the other day that like how many serial killers are there, and there's like websites dedicated to like how many serial killers there are in each state in the United States because there's so many of them.
That amazes me. We give like that kind of thing, but then we don't have like websites for like different charities or stuff. Those are hard to find. But
my God, every charity has a website. Everybody wants my money. Like,
well, that's true, but at least it goes to I don't even understand what that's for. Isn't that like a fan club? Aren't we just promoting that kind of behavior then?
Oh, when you have serial killers in prison, like they get piles and piles of letters, and like half of them get married most of the time when they're in prison because women are so infatuated with them. And
see, I think those are the people we should worry about.
Well, again, you get back into the
not that we don't worry about the killer, but the ones who are like infatuated. You go, there's something seriously screwed up about that.
When you have a woman fall in love with Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm just going to make up a name. Like you have to go, well, what in your psychology draws you to this person? Like what makes you think that's the best you can do? Like, you know, things like that. Like,
plus he's going to eat you. I mean, like that, it's a proven thing. You're going to be in the refrigerator in like a suit.
Don't you like that?
And I thought he was gay. Isn't he gay?
I thought so.
That's John Wayne Gacy.
I thought Ted Bundy was too. I'm like, sweetie, you were barking up the
Oh, no. Ted Bundy was a womanizer.
Oh, really?
Oh, I'm thinking of...
You're thinking of John Wayne Gacy.
No. I'm thinking of the one who ate everybody. He had
That's
heads in his.
Dahmer.
Dahmer. You said
Dahmer.
Dahmer first, not Ted Bundy.
I thought people liked being eaten. I guess.
Well,
Look at Becky's. I'm not ready. It's like not even 8 a.m. I don't even know how to handle that.
not to squirrel on this conversation, but that's one of the targeted ads I've been getting is like inmate connection. They're like, here's a single inmate for you. And I was like, really?
Are you
To
kidding
be
me?
fair, Dee, I think I sent you an inmate TikTok one day, and that might have triggered that.
No, wait,
Perfect.
that's a thing.
Appreciate you.
It's
Oh,
an
yeah, there's entire websites dedicated to meeting inmates and how do you date an inmate. And
Are you
They
kidding?
have their little dating profile and like what they're in for, how old
So
they
it's
are,
like
how long they
farmers
have to
only.
stay.
Only it's like inmates only.
oh,
And
yeah, absolutely. So
do they hook up different people from different prisons, or is it only? I mean, because
No, it's like for me
Oh,
to
no, it's
find
like-
someone in
let's
prison.
say Dee wanted to date an inmate, like she could go on this website and find an inmate and like start sending them letters in.
Well, how do you date an inmate? Like, how would that work in your
during
life?
visitation, I guess you do the phone. You put your hand on the
You
glass.
can go and visit. You can write letters. You can have phone calls. You can fill their commissary account with money.
No.
Okay.
Clearly, I've been watching too much Love After Lockup.
Yes, and let's,
Uh,
let's
Dee,
call-
I don't advise it because I don't know what you would possibly get out of it. In case you were thinking about
Well,
it.
but then
No, I don't think I'm there
the
yet.
hope is when they get out is that they come and love you and take care of you, and they're the person you wanted them to be. And but it's clearly
Well, that seems completely
that
sane.
sounds like Disney.
I'm not saying I want to say women, but I'm sure there are men who do it too.
Oh, of course.
But yeah,
But,
there's
okay,
nothing sane about it whatsoever.
We should say we're not talking about someone who just went to prison for not everyone in prison is bad. I mean, because I do believe second chances. I do think people are
Right.
convicted wrongly. I think there's
course.
Oh,
unfairness.
that's a whole nother show topic if you look at how many people are in prison who are actually not guilty. So-
Right, but we're talking about like serial killer, like
Yes.
those guys right
Yes.
now. We're not talking about someone went to prison because they wrote a bad check or they. I mean,
Right.
we're talking about like people who seriously like they know where the bodies are buried and someone is wanting to hook up.
Yes.
Okay. I don't get that at all.
Yeah, like you'll have people on death row that women are just infatuated with and want to marry, and like they're never going to be with them or whatsoever. So like, then that's when I get into the psychology of like, what are you thinking? How are you feeling? Like, what got you to this point? Like,
I don't think I want to
what
know.
happened in your life that makes you think this is the best you can do? Like,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
want
want
to
to know.
know.
Well, I don't. I'm okay not knowing. I just go, that's strange. And I guess do you, boo? I don't want to know what you were thinking. Because then the next person I meet at the grocery store, right, that happens to look like that or does something, I'm going to be like, do you have an inmate? Do you have a secret inmate love? Are you a serial killer lover? I don't know. I mean, that's why I think you guys are paranoid.
but watching me,
not
I can be very
paranoid.
outgoing and boisterous, but I can also sit back and just analyze situations and like watch people and think about them and like be very quiet and go, something weird here. Like,
And then I get made fun of for that one person that I think has someone in his basement. You don't believe that instinct. You tell me I have no instincts whatsoever.
you
and I
have
no safety.
zero safety instincts or gut feelings.
Yet
Like,
one person I say, I think he has people in his basement, and you go, he does not. He's so nice. What? I would think if anything, you would be calling the FBI or like targeting something because
because
I never
okay.
think bad things.
Your gaydar is on point. Your feelings of those kind of things, like my gut instinct, like has never been wrong, never. But like you have zero gut instinct. Like,
That's not true.
oh, please! Every time I go, something just feels off here. You're like, well, if you can't tell me exactly what it is, then I'm not going to believe you.
Okay, I'm not that dramatic. I think I
Although,
say, is it
there's
just maybe?
something not right about that person? You're like, well, if you can't name it, we're going to hire them
Well,
anyway.
because if you can't put it into words like they're negative or they're critical or they've lied or I just go with the
Sometimes
body.
it's just a gut feeling. Even being a medic, when I show up on scene, I can tell you sick or not sick within like 5 seconds. It's literally just a gut feeling.
All right. Well, I don't know. Becky also says it makes it a little harder for them. I don't know.
When the doors are locked. I think she made that
Oh,
comment.
okay. Well, that's fair. But I just think if they're really dedicated, that it's just not going to stop them, right? Like
I
if
don't
you
know.
think like
Becky,
a
do
stalker,
you guys have gut feelings that you follow a lot with people or things?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And you can't always say, hey, this is what's wrong. It's just, it doesn't feel right.
I
There's
think
some
most of the
things,
time
yeah.
I ignore it until I have something concrete, because otherwise it could just be me. What if it's my mood projecting onto somebody else? Like, right, I'm having like I don't know, I'm just frustrated that day or something's going on, and then I'm projecting onto someone else and they just don't have the same expression I have, right? They're just more flat. So that doesn't mean I don't know.
Anytime I've went against my gut feeling, I have always failed myself because I made the wrong decision because my gut was always right.
I think I just turned my own off. It's just it's noise in the background I don't need.
Well, and I think it goes back to too, like your first instinct is normally always the correct way to go. Kind of like the same thing.
Is it
It's
though?
like when you
Because
take
not
a
all
test
first
and they're like,
impressions,
don't
right?
change your answer. Whatever your first answer is the answer. Don't change it.
Mhm. Yep.
Well, that's
Like-
because you're on a time limit and they just want to see how stupid you are without thinking. That's what I think. They're like, just put down anything, it doesn't matter. And they're like, you put that down in 2 seconds? Well, I was in the middle of like something else and my brain didn't switch over. So I don't know. I just don't think my first instincts are always right. So I am very careful. I'm judgy, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm not. But I think my first instincts aren't always right. So I think I can be very judgy of outside, like how things look, right? And but I don't take it to heart because I don't know. I've liked someone and then like I got to know them and they're terrible people, and vice versa. I didn't like someone and then I'm like, oh, I just maybe had a bad first impression. I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. I think it just kind of depends on what you're weighing. Like, what are you measuring? Like,
True.
I think we're all judgmental to a certain point, right? So is it outward appearance? Is it like, what are your first instincts, right? What are you looking at? I think that,
Well,
if you're
apparently
looking
not fear for me, because Chip thinks someone's going to come at a knife and I'm going to be like, oh, do we have bread? Are we having bread? Are you going to cut it?
But I
you
can
know it.
differentiate that judgmental thinking from my gut thinking. Like
Mhm.
those are two very separate things
Yep.
for me. So
I don't know. I can't tell them apart sometimes. I'll be honest.
yeah, mine have very clear lines. Like I know what my gut feelings are, and I know when I'm going. Look at that hair. A rat made a nest in it. Like
Okay, that's a true story, kids. Like he was obsessed with. He's like, "Do you have a brush in your purse?" And I'm like,
Jesus.
"Yeah, why?" And he goes, "I want
I
to go."
just wanted to like
The lady
hair
in the
attack her
maroon
and comb the
shirt?
back of it.
Were we talking about the lady in the maroon shirt the other day?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Kind of
That's
the
what I thought, because I noticed
Even
too.
I felt bad. Like
And
I
I
was
wasn't even
so
with you guys.
bad.
she doesn't have a mirror, and she just didn't go like some. She didn't have a friend. Like if my hair looked like that, one of you would go, "Oh, your hair's messed up." We would
I
fix it.
absolutely would be running my fingers through it trying to fix it.
right because we
She
would
looked like she
I
laid
would
down
tell
on a
you we're not
pillow and
going
like
with
shook
you
her
until
head
you
all
fix your
around and
hair.
then like sprayed it with some Aquanet and
It did look a little weird. Like maybe she was in her seat in her car and she was just like dancing and her head was like on the back. I don't know. But I just felt bad she didn't have a friend to fix it. Because I think
and then it was like that all day, and she sat in front of me all day, and I couldn't
Oh,
focus on
no.
anything because that's all I kept seeing all day long. So
see, and now if she was a really nice person and I are you ever gonna get over that first impression? Probably not.
but to see that's the difference. I'm being judgmental of her hair. I didn't get a gut instinct that there was anything wrong with her as a person other than she was probably a little bit of a Karen. But
Oh, see, so there is a little judgment there from that. And that's all I'm saying. It's a slippery slope because you see one thing and then you're like, and there's probably this. And then, I
well,
don't know.
no, I saw her interact with people and like talk to people throughout the day, and that's why I say that. So
Well, I don't understand the obsession today with all of that. But if you guys like it, obviously a lot of people do because it's everywhere. Like it is everywhere. I think it's like the modern day. What was the thing where they had us in the arena and fight lions back in the day?
gladiators.
I feel
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like that. It's like a modern day gladiator thing where we just watch all of this like horrible stuff unfold.
Like if you guys haven't seen it on Hulu, there's a TV show called The Thing About Pam. It was only like 7 or 8 episodes. It's based on a real life story that was on Dateline that was then turned into a podcast that they then turned into a miniseries, and it has Renee Zellweger in it. And the woman's just crazy as can be. And like every episode, you're like, how much crazier can she get? And like she sets the bar higher every time.
We know people like that. If crazy was kittens, they'd be loaded. Well, we hope you guys have a great day. That is it for us today. And we will see you tomorrow, and we'll talk about nothing and everything all at once. Thanks for joining us. See you later.